What changes need to happen in the NFL?
Real diversity and inclusion. Like, what we talking about? We could do pamphlets and we could send out press releases and clips and we end racism in end zones and all of that. True diversity and inclusion. And let me explain to everybody why diversity and inclusion is important when it comes to minorities, when it comes to women, because it's voices. And when you're coming up with these ideas and when you want to see the game push forward, make it look more of like the world looks like. But that's not going to happen. And I'm sorry, I have to give this sobering reality. It's billionaires that's owners of these teams that don't want it to happen, right? They want it to happen on certain levels. And when you get pushed from us in media and people around the league talking about it, they make a move. When Kaepernick kneeled, he kneeled for the right reasons. And it should have been taken heed to immediately when it happened. But it wasn't what they wanted to do. When George Floyd happened, it was popular to jump on board and be forthright and be progressive and talk about the things that needed to change. Mm-hmm. And this is just another situation in the NFL or in a lot of parts of the world, country, businesses, things that are functioning in this country, where diversity and inclusion is a great thing to say. It looks good on your letterhead. It looks good when you send these messages out to the public. But if you're not really operating like that, you're going to have these situations. Now, I would hope that if it was diversity and inclusion for real, with decision makers and people within the construct of these leagues or businesses or whatever, that it would be voices that look at those things, or it would be a voice on the other end of those damn emails to say, hey, man, we don't do that around here. That ain't right. We don't condone that. That's why it's important to have different voices. That's why it's important to have people that don't look like you, talk like you, come from where you come from, share their ideas and opinions, whether you agree or disagree, and y'all try to figure out a way to find common ground and make this thing work for everybody. I want to shout out one guy in the NFL, Stephen A., and I'm done. Bruce Arians is real diversity and inclusion. That's the real look of what it's supposed to look like. And I don't know if it's Tampa Bay's organization, but it's happening in there, so I got to give them credit too. But when you see diversity and inclusion with a championship team and a franchise that really openly does that publicly and a head coach that comes out and talks about that, I would hope that in the construct of Bruce Arians' staff, that if somebody said the things that John Gruden said or emailed the things that John Gruden emailed, that it would have been approached, taken care of, and the right process would have happened when it happened. Stephen A., go ahead.
Here's the deal. I appreciate you saying that because I basically said that yesterday, and I love the fact that you brought up Bruce Arians because Todd Bowles, a black man, is his defensive coordinator, and Byron Leftwich, his offensive coordinator, is a black man as well. So I definitely appreciate where you're coming from with that. And I also want to give props to the Browns and the Miami Dolphins organization because two brothers are executives. They're GMs for those respective franchises. But when we ask the question, what changes does the NFL really need to make? I'm going to have to say it starts with Roger Goodell. He's going to have to step up. And here's the reason why. You are the commissioner. You are answerable to 32 NFL owners. I'm certainly not going to cast aspersions on him by calling him names or whatever. I happen to be very fond of Roger Goodell. Had the pleasure of actually meeting him for the first time on a football field, Monday Night Football at SoFi Stadium last week. But you got to step up. You got to show some guts because the Washington football team is the one that was being investigated. People are absolutely right to be in an uproar when they point out that the Washington football team was being investigated because of a story exposed by the Washington Post about what it's like to be a female, a woman, working in Daniel Snyder's organization. Okay? First initial step was the NFL allowed Daniel Snyder to hire his own law firm, to hire a law firm to investigate him. Well, how that gonna work, all right, before it got bad PR and they stepped in. So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two, Daniel Snyder, who I also have communicated with in the past, okay? And for the most part, I don't like what I read in those stories over the last year. I don't like the things that I read and the things I heard were going on in the Washington football team. I know he hired a friend of mine, Julie Donaldson, that I've known for many years and stuff like that, and she's doing a fantastic job for them. But that was after the mess that existed in that cesspool of a culture that you had going on with the Washington football team. Daniel Snyder was fined $10 million. His franchise is worth over $4.2 billion. That's a penny. That's a traffic ticket. I think the Washington Post said that one time. It's a traffic ticket, okay? And oh, by the way, he was allowed to step away so his wife could run it. Really? That's what we're doing now? That's what we're doing? I mean, you know, the wife is running it. So she's making the decision. But your wife, so I assume that y'all are sharing a home and a bed together and all that stuff. So you don't communicate with her. I mean, we going to talk about everything but the Washington football team. Who the hell do you think we are? We were born at night, not last night. I mean, come on. Ain't nobody falling for that. So the commissioner has allowed this to happen. You know, and once again, you're either late to the party or you handling stuff wrong. We cannot sit here. As egregious, as reprehensible, and as disappointing as John Gruden's emails were. I will remind everybody, the only reason we found out about those emails was because of an investigation into the Washington football team because of the horrific culture that they had. That's why we found out. And the lawyers for those women that worked for the Washington football team is absolutely positively right when they say it's amazing to us and disgraceful and disappointing that with this investigation that spans months and has 655,000 pages of documents, that the person that we're focused on is John Gruden.
It's almost been a distraction. It's a distraction.
It's a distraction.
From their issue.
No, the focus needs to go right back to the Washington football team and Daniel Snyder and Roger Goodell, although he answers to them, he got to step up and handle that. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.